Have you ever gotten up on a Saturday morning and just wanted to go for a ride? No particular destination in mind, but just one of those rides where you get in a car and drive, and wherever you wind up is where you're at. Well, we recently had one of those days, and we want to share with you our adventure and stops along the way. We'll be stopping in Lake County, Ohio, to take a look at the Grand River Lighthouse at Fairport Harbor and Perry Nuclear Plant. Then we'll be making a stop in Ashtabula County, Ohio, to see the Harpersfield Covered Bridge, once the longest covered bridge in Ohio. So please join us on this short and sweet but fun-filled adventure on this episode of History and Relics. Situated at the mouth of the Grand River or Fairport Harbor Lighthouse is known as the light that shone for 100 years. But the present-day Fairport Harbor Lighthouse didn't accomplish that feat on its own, as its predecessor, which stood on this same site, accounted for the first 46 years of service. The current lighthouse was built in 1871 and has a 60-foot tower with a detached keeper's house. The light was decommissioned in 1925 and replaced by the Fairport Harbor West Breakwater Light, which you can see at a distance. At one time, the Coast Guard considered using the keeper's house to house their personnel and demolish the tower, but a letter-writing campaign by local residents prevented it from happening. In 1945, the Coast Guard turned over ownership of the light to the town. The tower is open to the public, and the keeper's house currently serves as the Fairport Harbor Marine Museum and Lighthouse, the first of its kind in the country, operated by the Fairport Harbor Historical Society. Founded in 1945, the museum features exhibits about the history of the lighthouse and its keepers, as well as rare artifacts, such as this life car. Another interesting exhibit is the former pilot house or bridge from the Great Lakes carrier the Frontenac, which is attached to the museum's exterior. Okay, so before we move along, I want to show you a map of where we're at and where we're going. Here's a map that shows Ohio, part of Michigan, Pennsylvania, and of course, Lake Erie. The red beacon that you see here marks Fairport Harbor. That's where we're at right now, just east of Cleveland. And as we zoom in and continue traveling east, you'll see our next destinations of the Perry Nuclear Plant and the Harpersfield Covered Bridge. Often referred as a nuclear power plant, the power reactor is a facility that produces electricity by nuclear reaction, which is the continuous splitting of uranium atoms. Ohio has two nuclear plants, both located along the shores of Lake Erie in the northern part of the state. They are the Davis-Besse plant in Oak Harbor, just west of Sandusky, and the Perry Nuclear Plant east of Cleveland. A third plant in Piqua, Ohio, just north of Dayton, closed in 1966. Construction of the Perry Nuclear Plant began in 1974, but the plant didn't open until 1987. It sits upon 1,100 acres, and at the time of its opening, it was the 100th power reactor to be built in the United States. Perry is a boiling water reactor, one of the largest such units in the United States. It was originally built as a 2-unit plant, but although you can see 2 cooling towers, there is only 1 reactor. To date, there have been no major safety issues in the history of the Perry plant. In 1993, much of the acreage was designated as an urban wildlife sanctuary, which is home to the heron as well as an orchid rare to the state of Ohio. There are also wetlands, the habitat for the spotted turtle and endangered species. Okay, let's grab a quick selfie and head back out on the road. As we continue on to our next destination, we come upon the Ashtabula Lift Bridge. So, while we're waiting, why not learn something about it? The bridge is one of the only surviving brown-type bascule bridges in the country. The term bascule is a medieval term for drawbridge. It is one of only 2 of its type that remain in service in the state of Ohio and the only one existing in the state highway system. In 1889, a 19th century pontoon bridge on the site was replaced by a through truss bridge, which permitted river access because it was a swing bridge. In 1925, the bridge you see now was constructed by the Cleveland firm Wendell P. Brown for $179,000, or nearly $2.7 million today. The lifting action depends on electric motors and a massive concrete counterweight. The bridge operates 24 hours a day and is lifted every half hour. In 1985, the bridge was listed on the National Register of Historic Places. Okay, looks like it's time to go. At 228 feet, the Harpersfield Covered Bridge, built in 1868, spans the Grand River and was once the longest covered bridge in Ohio. It is now third, behind the Mohican State Park Covered Bridge, also referred to as the Bridge of Dreams, at 370 feet in length, the second longest covered bridge near Mansfield, Ohio, and originally built in the 1920s, but covered in 1998, as well as the current first place longest covered bridge, that's not only the longest in Ohio, but the entire country, at 613 feet, and built in 2008 and is located in Ashtabula, a short distance from where we're at today. 140 feet of the Harpersfield Bridge washed away in a great flood that occurred here in 1913. It was replaced with a steel truss bridge attached to the remaining covered bridge. Extensive renovations took place between 1991 and 1992, which included strengthening the lower chords, lowering and replacing the floor, and adding a cantilevered walkway. Now let's take you around this mighty bridge and see it close up, and we'll be sure to show you the view from the walkway too. Thank you for joining us today. We hope you've enjoyed our program. If you like our content, we ask that you like, share, and subscribe to our channel. It costs nothing but means a lot to us and keeps us growing. You may also leave us a tip if you choose. A link is provided here on your screen as well as in the description area below. And until next time, everyone, this one is history.